violence really cast a grim shadow over 4th of July celebrations this weekend. And it happened in city after city after city. We're going to start in Chicago, though. At least 77 people shot on Friday in Chicago, 13 people killed. And one of them was a 7-year-old little girl. Her name is Natalia Wallace. She was visiting her grandmother for a 4th of July celebration. And her family describes her as sweet, shy, and loving.
And I jumped the flight of stairs to come downstairs. I found my baby laying here. She was only 7 years old. She smiled, she always told me, I love you. I buy anything she asked me to buy. I love that little girl, okay? I'll never be the same again.
I mean, who wants to bear their child? It should be the other way around.
We talk about Black Lives Matter, but at the end of the day, we killing each other off. We killing our baby. We can't bring her back, but we want justice.
Yes.
We definitely want justice. Justice for Natalie. Justice for Natalie.
In Atlanta, an 8-year-old girl was killed, along with 23 other people shot in the city, but an 8-year-old girl killed. Her name's Sequoia Turner. She died after a group of people opened fire on a car that she was sitting in with her mother and another friend, another adult. And the shooting, coincidentally, happened right across the street from the Wendy's where Rayshard Brooks was killed a couple of weeks ago. And where there are ongoing protests. The city's mayor said that peaceful protests for racial justice are important, but condemned those that she said were wreaking havoc on the community.
You can't blame this on a police officer. You can't say that this is about criminal justice reform. This is about some people carrying some weapons who shot up a car with an 8-year-old baby in the car. For what? There are thousands of people who are gathering peacefully to try and effectuate change in this country. And then there are those who are wreaking havoc. And they are doing it to the detriment of us all.
We understand the frustration of racial roots. We understand. We ain't got nothing to do with it. We innocent. We didn't mean no harm. My baby didn't mean no harm.
On Sunday, 3 other people in that very same location were shot. 1 person was killed, and police are trying to determine the cause of the shooting. And then moving on to where I live, Philadelphia, dozens of shootings over the course of 24 hours. One of the shootings led to the death of a 6-year-old boy. Trang Do from our CBS station, KYW, has more on that.
I don't know what happened. I know it's going to be super, super sad. I mean, I know the family, and I know the little guy. I mean, it's really, really upsetting.
July 5th started with 2 men shot on the 600 block of South Street at 2:30 a.m. Then another double shooting at 1:30 in the afternoon on the 1800 block of Wallace Street in Spring Garden. Less than an hour later, a 37-year-old woman was shot 12 times in the torso on the 1900 block of Clarence Street in Harrogate. At 3:20, another woman shot in the arm on the 2700 block of North Broad Street. At the same time in Point Breeze, a double shooting left 1 man dead on the 1300 block of 17th Street. In North Philadelphia, a 43-year-old man was fatally shot in the back of the head on the 2300 block of Crossgate Street. Then just before 5 p.m., an 11-year-old girl in West Philly suffered a graze wound on the 2500 block of 67th Street. Just before 6:30, 1 man died in a double shooting outside of a home on the 2100 block of East Ann Street in Kensington. Police say 2 gunmen approached and opened fire as the men sat together during a barbecue on the block.
COVID is one of the epidemics we're dealing with, but we're also continuing to deal with the prevalence of homicides or shootings in our community. Prayerfully, we can find out who committed this crime, and we can bring some peace and closure to the members of this community.
Well, about 100 miles northeast of Philadelphia in New York City, at least 9 people were killed in shootings over the weekend. That's according to CBS in New York. So the city saw dozens of shootings, resulting in 56 victims on Sunday alone. Between midnight and 9 a.m., there were 21 shootings. The former NYPD commissioner, Ray Kelly, says a possible cause of the surge in gun violence may be due to the mayor's elimination of anti-crime units. For the mayor's part, he has vowed not to allow gun violence to continue to grow in the city.
Welcome to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. If you are new to this video podcast, I encourage you to please subscribe to my Mixcloud page, my YouTube channel, and my Linktree page, which I provide the comment in the comment section. I host this show in order to network with everyone on my friends list and everyone in my social groups. It's convenient because you can participate, listen, or watch this video in the privacy of your home. Tonight we're doing a special segment about the random killings of our children over the 4th of July weekend. With everything happening from COVID-19 to the George Floyd protests, and now 8 children murdered from Chicago, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and New York City. In Chicago alone, there were 77 shootings. In Atlanta, there were 23 shootings. In Philadelphia, there were 12 shootings, and in New York City, there were 9 shootings. It's not just road cops who are killing our children. It's also the Pookie and Ray Rays, better known as urban terrorists. So, I mean, that's what time it is, and, that's what's, basically going on here. The main reason why I created the Grassroots community activist movement was because I was fed up with all of the division among black people. Pan-Africanism was not working for African Americans or black Americans. I wanted to start a new black movement which would focus on solving black issues. I created my first group on November 10th, 1991 on a site called Gopher. The purpose of my group was to help raise awareness about the genocide which is taking place within our inner cities in America, starting in Chicago. I wanted to connect with other like-minded African Americans, Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Canadians, Afro-Caribbeans, Afro-Europeans, Afro-immigrants, Afro-Latinos, and Native Africans from around the globe. I'm trying to turn my social groups into a real Christian business known as GRCAM, the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. I am also in the process of turning my revised book into a docudrama entitled Hood Liberator Made in Chicago, The War Against Willie Lynch Begins. I'm trying to raise $500,000 in order to hire a professional film crew. The proceeds from my film will put me in a better position financially to buy business equipment, hire qualified employees, and purchase property in Chicago and in Africa. This film is historical, revolutionary, meaningful, and shall be rival that of past black movements. We are sincerely grateful for all of our supporters, no matter how big or small the donation is. African people, let's return to our greatness and restore balance once again. Your business and support are the keys to our success. The Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. All donations are deductible to the full extent of the law, allowed by the law. You can send your donations through my PayPal page or through my Gillify page. I will provide that on my Tree Link. More about GRCAM. The Grassroots Community Activist Institute aims to be a model institution in the inner cities of Chicago. We seek to change the narrative around urban violence by injecting Black voices into political, social, research, and community advocacy. Our mission is to eradicate urban violence in Chicago through our programs and services. GRCAM will equip Black entrepreneurs and local Chicago artists. GRCAM will operate as a community co-op, a grocery store, healthcare, and housing complex. Our educational outreach services will focus on strengthening the Black family through our workshops of healthy living, stress management, family matters, spiritual development, and networking events. The goal of GRCAM is to alleviate activists' storytelling around spirituality, poverty, institutionalized racism, police brutality, and Black-on-Black crime through arts and entertainment. GRCAM will offer community-based programs for teens and young adults interested in filmmaking, media, and journalism. Based on our budget and sponsorship, we will offer stipends to our students. My message to the faith community: it's not my burden alone, but rather a shared burden. For I am just one Black man with a plan and a vision. It takes a team to make a dream work. My message to non-Black sympathizers: if Black Lives Matters to you, then please support our film project. GRCAM is a global community of thinkers and builders. I need your help to move GRCAM from behind a computer. And I need smart boots on the ground in Chicago. My message to the global Black family: I need to get my Christian business started in America for credibility. Before I cut and run to Africa, I want to help my people who are trapped in American ghettos, starting in Chicago. Then we will expand GRCAM to 10 African nations, God's willing. If I'm unable to get half of the Black community to work with us, then we will relocate our business to another city that will. This Willie Lynch mentality within the Black culture is just as bad as white supremacy. This is not business for me. This is personal. The Grassroots Community Activist Institute will be membership based. Everyone will be screened, must attend our mandatory orientation, and sign the community pledge. No exceptions. No hardened criminals, no active gang members, no urban terrorists, no pedophiles, and no half-steppers allowed in my organization. This is how I get down. This is my contribution back to my community, society, and throughout the African diaspora. Now, if you're serious about being part of my film project, then please send me your email address to my Facebook inbox. And you're just going to have to be on standby until I'm able to raise the funds to get this film popping. I encourage all of my group members to please don't be a passive spectators. Get involved. After all, I mean, this is the whole reason I created the groups, not for people to just sit up and post videos, but for us to interact and eventually move from behind a computer. This organization has been out before Occupy Wall Street, the Occupy Wall Street movement, before Black Lives Matter, and also before American descendants of slavery, ADOS. and another group called Foundational Black Americans. So all those groups and organizations, they started online. And this organization is specific. You know, I don't want to just be online just to be online. I'm trying to recruit brave and smart people. But that's not working because I've been pushing this for over 15 years. So that's how come I'm focusing on this film project, generate capital from that, so that way I can hire black middle class professionals that will help carry out the vision that my creator has given me. And again, I take this personal. I mean, even though I shouldn't take it personal, I mean, this is spiritual warfare at its best. And I've been ready to get this organization popping for the longest, but again, it takes a team to make a dream work. So I'm asking everybody that's on my friends list, especially on Facebook, please help get this video podcast, help it go viral. Share it with all your friends. Purchase my revised book. Read my story for yourself so that way you'll know what you're getting yourself involved with. Everything that's written in that book, we're going to carry out. My revised book is the foundation of my organization. And we're going to stay focus oriented. Again, it's very sad about all these young people are being shot down like animals. But again, this is the whole purpose of this show. Help stop the genocide in American ghettos. If I didn't care about this stuff, I wouldn't be pushing it for as long as I have been doing. If I was just trying to make money, I would have written many books. I only wrote technically one book because the first book I got ripped off. But that's all right. It is what it is. But right now, you know, my focus is on the film project, raising $500,000. So that way I can let people know that I mean business. I'm putting that on the table once I'm able to obtain that from my supporters from around the globe. Again, when we come to Africa, we want to come making sure that we can get citizenship, dual citizenship within 5 years. So I need my African supporters, you know, to put pressure on your governments to let them know about that. We come in there to create jobs to help improve the African economy, and also to apply for dual citizenship. I can't speak for everyone else. I only can speak for myself. Those of us that's sick and tired of this, all of this drama here in America, you know, we want to come back to our ancestral homeland and rebuild the economy there and get reacquainted with the culture. And I want African immigrants here in the United States, if you have family members here in America or in Europe or in Canada, encourage them to purchase my revised book. Encourage them to network with me and come to Chicago and work with me and Sister Renee. You know, once this quote-unquote virus is, you know, totally cleaned up, but we can still network with each other. People still can read my revised book. So we don't, you know, life goes on. We're not going to let that virus, you know, halt everything. So thank you for listening and watching this video. Again, I'm not here for entertainment. I know people like to want to give me suggestions what I should do. I'm not looking for no suggestions. I'm looking for brave and smart people that's going to that understand where I'm coming from, that meets the qualifications that I'm looking for. Please make yourself known, because you're the persons that I want on my management team. It's gonna, in order to fix the black community, we need black people to stand up. I'm ready. I've been ready. I have a plan. The thing is, I don't have a management team in place. That's my biggest dilemma. And I'm trying to do what I can. But again, I want to make sure that I have people that's going to be on the up and up. I do not associate with con artists. If I catch a con artist up in our business, we will put that person or persons on blast. And they will be placed on our Judas list, and they will be barred for life. I have that in the book. Please read my book so that way you can understand where I'm coming from. So that way I don't have to waste time trying to explain what's already in writing. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast and watching this video. And that's going to conclude our show for this evening.